Hello, welcome to the One Life Church devotional series where we cover the entire Bible in 20 months. Well, today's chapters are Song of Songs 2 and 1 Peter chapter 4. Now, 1 Peter 4 deals with the subject of judgment and hardship, suffering. Now, as you can see, it's a very, very cold afternoon. It's on the back of that cold front that has wreaked havoc in KwaZulu-Natal. Huge rains, huge floods that have left people under serious forms of suffering and distress. And so, as we talk about a community, Peter's talking into a community that's being persecuted, that's suffering, that's battling. And he says, you used to live a certain way, and you used to have certain friends. And he says, now they are surprised that you do not join them in their reckless, wild living, and they heap abuse on you. He says, don't worry about that. But they will have to give an account to him who is ready to judge the living and the dead. Just everybody's going to have to be held to account. For this reason, the gospel was preached even to those who are now dead, so that they might be judged according to human standards in regard to the body, but according to God in regard to the spirit. Now, some people have said when they've read this, that is it possible that once you die, you're in heaven, and then God gives you the gospel there, and then you make up your decision in heaven? It doesn't say that. It says the gospel was preached to those who are already dead. That's what it's saying. It's not saying that you're going to have the gospel preached to you once you're in heaven. The end of all things is near. You can comfort yourself with that. And so, therefore, this is how we ought to live. Be alert. Be watchful. Pray. Love. Show hospitality. Be generous. Serve. Speak the very words of God. And do not be surprised at the fiery ordeal that you're going through right now, as though something strange were happening to you. That's verse 12. Because in so much that it happened to Jesus, it's going to happen to those who follow Jesus. If you're insulted before the name of Christ, then you're blessed. For the Spirit of glory and of God rests on you. So then it ends with verse 19. Those who suffer according to God's will should commit themselves to their faithful Creator and continue to do good. Tough things do happen. We live in a messed up world, and suffering does happen, and God is mindful of that. But he says, cling on to him and he'll hold you. Now, Song of Songs 2 is rich with advice for married couples as well as application for us as believers. And so he starts by saying, you like a lily among thorns. He says, you stand out. She replies, and she says, you're like an apple tree among the trees of the forest. Everything else is wild, but boy, I see value in you. Beautiful the way they speak over each other. And then this is what she says. Let him lead me to the banquet hall, and let his banner over me be love. Now, if you've been in Christian circles for a long time, you'll know that we sing this song about Jesus and about his banner over us being love, and into his banqueting hall and his banqueting table. It's a beautiful picture of us being drawn to the Father in intimacy. His left arm under my head, his right hand embraces me. This is very graphic, very intimate. And then she says, do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires. The love that God puts inside of us for our spouse is like a raging fire. If you're young and not yet married, she's warning, don't awaken it before it's too early, because if you do, it's like a raging fire. It'll consume you, and it'll be like a steam train, runaway train that you can't stop. Then she turns to think about him again. He says, he's like, here he comes, leaping across the mountains, bounding over the hills. He's coming for me. He says, he's like a stag looking through the window. He's looking for me. She loves being pursued. And I think women need to be pursued their whole lives, even once you're married. And then he says, now there she is. She's in the cleft of the rock, the hiding place. Show me your face. Let me hear your voice. Your voice is so sweet. Him speaking tenderly to her. That is something that needs to happen the whole way through a married life. And then, this is what he says. Catch for us the foxes, the little foxes that ruin the vineyards that are in bloom. He's got this suspicion that facts, people, circumstances are against them and against their marriage. And there could be things that undo them. How true that was for the life of Solomon. But all of us that are in relationships, beware of the little things that trip us up. The tripwires, whether it be finances or extended families or pastimes or the way we talk to each other. Be careful of these little things that trip you up. And then she says, my beloved is mine and I am his. She wants this exclusivity, which is, after all, reserved for marriage. And it is a picture of what God wants of our hearts. He doesn't want to share our hearts with 101 other idols. He wants us exclusively to himself.